Workers exempt from isolation. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I thought we'd have a look at this article from news.com.au discussing more workers or additional workforces that are now exempt from COVID isolation rules for close contacts. This is a fantastic step forward, everyone. This is slowly returning to sensible life, to normal life. The bureaucracy will take time. They're going to be slow. No one wants to stick their head out. So don't be too frustrated if we're going to be going through all of this rubbish for another year. But I'm hopeful for 2022. I think Omicron and some of the rhetoric coming from our own Chief Health Officer here in Queensland paints a very positive picture for life going back to normal for everyone. So let's look at this. More workforces could be exempt from COVID isolation rules for close contact. So, isolation rules for workers in the childcare, aviation, transport, and energy industries could change to protect supply chains from Omicron-related staff shortages. Now, Omicron is just doing a number on the old methods that they had in place to try and mitigate the spread of this illness. It's not working. Lockdowns have been proven to be ineffective for really restricting Omicron, and we're starting to see empty shelves not because of shortages of food, but for shortages of people in logistics and delivery, because they're close contacts, so they have to isolate because they can't get a rat test, probably because of shortages in logistics and delivery. Oh, it's beautiful when it all comes together, but the end outcome is that, well, maybe if you're a close contact, and you're not feeling any symptoms, you don't necessarily have to isolate. You know, like with other illnesses, remember back in the day, the food, meat, restaurant, and trucking sectors are among essential industries holding crisis talks with the federal government on Tuesday night to discuss supply chain problems. It's part of a range of federal government talks with critical industry groups over the next 24 hours designed to keep industry moving and people working safely amid the Omicron spread. Federal Acting Small Business Minister Ann Ruston is expected to tell small and medium businesses from sectors including retail, trucking, food, airline, and farming that industry must push through this difficult time. It's easy to say. The series of meetings with industry groups will consider which further essential workers need to be given easier treatment when it comes to isolation. New rules relating to isolation and close contacts for workers in food and grocery supply are expected to be ratified by National Cabinet on Thursday. But work is also underway to broaden the rules to include critical services such as transport services, animal welfare, education, energy, medical suppliers, and aviation. So, there you go, guys. Let's have a bit of a talk about this one while I have a coffee. This is great. This is what we want to see. This is the bureaucracy and our politicians slowly realizing that isolating like nutcases over this illness is just not feasible because of the strain it puts on our wider economy and just the ability for society and civilization to function efficiently. This is great. This is good to see. This is positive news. Because once you have one industry here able to have different isolation rules to another, then others can argue for the same thing for their industry, for their group, for their sector. And it will spread. It'll spread not as fast as the Omicron will. It's much more efficient than our bureaucrats and politicians, but it's a good sign, everyone. This is actually, I'm quite happy to hear this. I'm quite happy to see what's happening, and I think this is paving the way for a better year in 2022, guys. Just be patient. It's going to be slow. It's going to take time. That's just how our bureaucratic and government sector is. That's why I would advocate, personally, for a reduction in their size and reach, so their inherent, what do you call it, inefficiencies? Well, I'd say their inherent rigorous and methodical approach to everything they do can be limited in scope. That's a nice way of saying incompetence. I mean, yes. Anyway, guys, Take care, have a great day, and check out this video about open borders propping up our property sector. I know you're all shocked. I know you are amazed that would even be considered here in Australia, particularly when we want to shut down every tennis person for political reasons, even though they did all the paperwork. But anyway, property's different.